Have you heard? Overwatch 2 PvE is getting cancelled. Originally, when Overwatch 2 was launched, one of the promises was player versus environment, or player versus monster, whatever you want to call it, fighting NPCs would become a thing. And we have had a taste of this kind of thing. There have been PvE events, for example, the Junkenstein event for Halloween, where you would fight NPCs. I found it kind of difficult at some times, oddly difficult for the difficulty that I was playing at. Not to say that I think it was too hard, but I do think they might have some trouble balancing some of the PvE things, but it's all been scrapped now. I think a lot of people were expecting some sort of progression system. There was a skill tree to develop your character, which honestly would have been really cool to unlock some new levels of ability from each of the Overwatch characters. There would be some kind of story mode. I'm assuming we would get a lot more insight into a lot of the characters and learn more about them. Frankly, I think a lot of people are going to disagree with my opinions on this, but here it goes. Naturally, this is very disappointing. Everyone was really excited about, a PvE version of Overwatch. It sounded really interesting. Personally, I'm not a huge lore person, so I'm not great at paying attention to that kind of thing, but I was excited to learn more about the Overwatch heroes, for sure. I did think that a story mode would have been a fun way for me to learn a little more about the characters. I was glad to see that Overwatch 2 wasn't that much different from Overwatch 1. I understand I'm in the minority here, but I actually enjoy playing Overwatch. I do want to extend some empathy towards the developers and kind of turn the mirror on the player base a little bit on this, because I have to say, since Overwatch 2 has come out, I have seen nothing but complaints and negativity. Not to mention, Blizzard has been majorly screwing up, and they have gone through a major restructuring of their company. I can only imagine that all of the developers who are actually passionate about Overwatch, maybe even excited about this kind of thing, are very frustrated, and it must be very discouraging because frankly, absolutely everything that this dev team creates for Overwatch, people just seem to be endlessly ungrateful for. So it's hard to blame them that they just throw their hands in the air and say, you know what, screw it, we're not making PvE, they're not even gonna like it anyway. And let's be honest, how many people would go to Twitter and bitch up a storm about PvE not being the exact way that they expected it? I hate to say it, but in some ways it was kind of doomed to fail. So it definitely sucks to have the developer just say, you know what, screw this, we're gonna scrap it. I know all that stuff we promised you, and it does kind of put the Overwatch 2 name sort of in vain. That's another subject, but ultimately disappointing, not super surprising. I also want to remind people you can play Overwatch 2 for free. So I do want to finish off by saying I'm not really trying to shift the blame to the player base. Maybe I'm a little superstitious, but I do happen to believe that the overall majority of people can sort of manifest outcomes. And I really do feel like people have been super displeased with this game. Again, I've just really been enjoying Overwatch. I'm just not seeing the same things that a lot of people are seeing when it comes to complaining about this game. And Blizzard has, not been doing well recently. Even today, I have seen just non-stop people shitting all over the game. If it's just a non-stop complaint fest for you, you hate everything about it, you don't want them to make any money off of you for giving you this game, right? You can literally already play the game for free. And don't get me wrong, Blizzard does have some greedy models. I paid I think it was $30 or $40 when I first bought the game. I had to buy Overwatch, but you can play Overwatch 2 for free. I'm a little worried. I really am enjoying Overwatch. I want to compete in competitive, and I want to have fun, and I want other people to be able to enjoy the game with me. I'm pretty worried that this is going to have a huge impact on it, and it should. They dropped the ball on something. The bottom line is Overwatch is still a multiplayer competitive game. That's what it has always been. But either way, they promised this huge aspect of the game that a lot of people were looking forward to. I always take things with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to video games in these recent times. Because unfortunately these companies are just not delivering, and they make choices that people may not agree with either way, right? But let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I have to say? Do you disagree? I'm sure a lot of people disagree, but let me know, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you have an opinion on it. Don't forget to subscribe to see more gaming videos. We're definitely going to be putting out a lot of gaming videos. I'll see you later, gamers.